Hello guys, my name is Silas. I am the third son of the well-known and wealthy Chief Duncan in society. I have two elder brothers. I am a happy and free-spirited man, but there was a problem. I am autistic, and my family didn't believe in me until something happened. Stay with me as I take you through my life experience as an autistic person. So guys, due to my mental state, I was relegated to doing house chores and running errands for my brothers. I didn't have a problem with it, as I even loved doing it to be useful in the house. One day, I was washing my immediate elder brother's car, Brother Dave's, when he called my name. I looked around but didn't see anyone, so I continued washing the car. Then I heard my name again, loud and clear. I quickly dropped what I was doing and went to answer the call. It was Brother Dave. He asked what I was doing and I replied, "Car." I was washing the car. He began asking how long it would take me to wash one car. 5 hours, 7 hours, 21 minutes, 15 minutes makes 1 day, 365 days make 1 leap year. I was still talking when Brother Dave shut me up. What have I said wrong now? I was answering the question you asked me. He then told me to go upstairs and get his file. I asked him for an egg they were eating before I would go, and he chased me away. I got to his room and saw 2 different files on the table. What color did he ask me to get? Is it blue or the other one? I picked one of them, still thinking if it's what he asked for. I guess it's this one, so I took it and left. When I got downstairs, I gave the file to Brother Dave, but he refused to take it and just looked at me. Our eldest brother, Brother Chuka, then asked me what color the file I was holding was. "It's bluish red," I replied. They gave me a look of disappointment. Then I looked at it very well. "Oh, it's purplish indigo," I said. "Wait, no, it's carton color." Brother Chuka then told him sometimes I amaze him. Before leaving, he instructed me to clean and tidy up the house as he would be having a guest later today. I was trying to grasp what he was saying, and he got offended, picked up his bag, and left. Brother Dave started calling my name repeatedly. "Silas!" I responded, "Barnabas!" He just looked at me and left. "Don't you want your file again? It's violet color," I said as I went after them. Later that day, I went to my very good friend Lillian's store. She was looking a bit worried, so I was just doing my thing, playing around and telling her what I wanted to buy. "Give me the usual, washing soap, sardine, and Mentos." I opened the container and took the Mentos myself. "Your total is 3,500 naira, she said. I took out the money from my pocket and gave it to her. I told her to keep the change, and she was happy, saying my boss treats me well. I just laughed and told her to keep the change. At least I've been able to brighten up her face. "Please, can you give me a chair so I can sit with you for a while?" She refused, asking if I was done with my chores in the house. Of course, I'm done. I've cleaned the house, washed the dishes, tidied the rooms, and most importantly, I've fried pomo. But unfortunately, I'm the only one at home, so I just want to spend some time here before leaving. She still refused and insisted I leave so my boss wouldn't come back and be mad. So I left. Later in the evening, Brother Chuka came back home with his girlfriend and they settled in. I brought a glass of juice to welcome her. She was just looking at me before Brother took the glass from me and put it on the table. "Ma, you are very fine," I told her. Brother Chuka then dragged me to the kitchen to confirm if I had done all the chores in the house, and I responded that I had, listing everything I did. He then said it was fine and that he just needed to order food. "Order food? No. I cooked jollof rice," I said, opening the pot for him to see. He was surprised and asked if it tasted nice. I assured him the food was very delicious, so there was no need to order. He was pleased and went to freshen up. A few hours later, I heard my name loudly and quickly rushed downstairs to the dining room. Brother was not happy at all, asking what rubbish I served them. "Rubbish? It's not rubbish, sir. I cooked it to be very sweet," I said. I took a spoon and tasted it. The thing is, there is too much salt." His girlfriend then asked if I emptied an entire bag of salt into the food. She began complaining to my brother, and he apologized to her. I was commanded to take the food away immediately. I took the chicken and began eating it, but my brother got angry and asked me to leave immediately before he slapped me. Guys, see how my good intentions turned bad, but it's fine. Later, Brother Dave returned from work. Brother Chuka's girlfriend had already told him about the food I cooked. When I came out, I greeted him and he asked, "Why did you cook when you know you can't cook?" I explained that the food was very delicious but had too much salt. I was still talking when they all shut me up. Honestly, guys, I don't know why Brother Dave is always attacking me. I grabbed my chair and sat down, joining them to watch the movie. Suddenly, Brother Chuka's girlfriend called me and commanded me to get her a glass of juice. Okay, hot or cold, I asked, and she replied, microwaved. I told her the microwave had been broken for 2 days and hadn't been fixed, but they just shouted for me to leave and get the juice. They won't let me finish my explanations. They keep cutting me off. The following day, I heard a knock on the door non-stop, so I went to open it. It was my father, the one and only Chief Duncan. He was enraged at me for not opening the door sooner. I apologized and told him I was frying pomo, but he cut me off and demanded I speak English or our native tongue. But it's not French I'm speaking, sir. I'm speaking English, I said. I continued with my explanation when my brothers came in. He began scolding them for their incompetence and laziness as they were just waking up. No, Dad, they do wake up early. Like Uncle Chuka, he wakes up at 5:23. I wash his car. Yeah, your tire is flat. You have to pump it. And Brother Dave, he wakes up at 21:30. I was trying to help them so our father wouldn't raise his voice at them, but they shut me up. My dad then faced me, asking me to take a good look at myself. He said I looked like an ordinary houseboy, not the third son of a millionaire. He was so disappointed. I excused myself and went to sit at the dining table while he continued scolding my brothers for losing the contract he had left in their hands. Chief Duncan's concern is just about his company, so I can understand his frustration. My brothers told him it wasn't their fault, that their presentation wasn't liked or accepted. Our father was so angry and disappointed at them. He said all they knew how to do was embezzle money from the company. Then he told them that whoever could get him the 500 million naira project he had always wanted would get to run the company and have the right to make decisions about his company and house. He stated it was time to know which of them was smarter. My brothers sat up and began promising and assuring our dad that they would get him the deal and make him proud. Chief Duncan stood up and told them they had 6 weeks to prove themselves. I was just busy with my own thing because they see me as useless in the family. What they were talking about didn't concern me, so I minded my business. My brothers began competing, each claiming they would get the company, and concluded with, "May the best man win." The next day, I went to see my good friend Lillian at her shop, but she was not around. There was a customer in her shop, so I helped attend to her before Lillian came in and continued from where I stopped. After the customer had left, Lillian thanked me and insisted I go back home before my boss returned. It's not my. She cut me off, shouting that she had just been called for a job interview and would be going there tomorrow. "Wow, I'm happy for you. Let me go with you," I said. She told me not to bother, but I insisted since I wouldn't be doing anything in the house. She finally agreed. The following day, I followed Lillian to the interview and waited outside while she was inside with the boss. Later, she came out looking sad. "What happened? Why do you look so sad?" I asked. She replied that she didn't get the job because she was not qualified. She added that the boss insulted her, saying she was only qualified to work at the zoo. I was trying to console her when the man came out. Immediately, I confronted him. "Why did you refuse to give my friend a job and still insult her?" He turned to Lillian and asked, "What are you still doing here, and who is this hooligan beside you?" "Sir, the hooligan is her friend," I replied. He then chased us out of his house. I refused to leave, but Lillian was afraid and dragged me out. On our way back home, we saw the same man standing by his car, looking stranded and talking on the phone, probably with his mechanic. I approached him. "Evening, sir. It's me and my friend. Do you remember? The one you asked to leave? But it's fine. We saw you are stranded and came to see what is happening." He said he was driving when the car just coughed and stopped. "Cough? How?" I asked. He replied that the car just stopped, and he's been trying to reach his mechanic, who claimed to be busy but instructed him to wait. Lillian was dragging me away, but I calmed her down. The man continued, saying he was frustrated and angry. "Sir, please choose one. Are you frustrated or angry because your mechanic won't come at all?" I asked him to open the bonnet so I could check the car. After looking inside, I was confused. "Sir, there's a lot going on here because I don't understand anything," I told him. I advised him to call his mechanic because I didn't understand the car. Wait, sir, when did you last put water in this car? He said it's his mechanic, Femi, who does these things, so he's not aware. You don't know cars need water like fish? I asked. He then asked where we could get water. I should be asking you that, I mimicked him. I went to find some water while Lillian wasn't happy with the situation. I returned, poured the water into the radiator tank, and asked him to start the car. He was overwhelmed and began thanking me. Really? Go and start your car first before you thank me, I said. He replied that he would, but just wanted to thank me because he knew he didn't deserve help after what he did to us. He promised to be a different person. He went to Lillian, apologized, and offered her the job she came for, but Lillian told him she was no longer interested and walked away, asking me to meet her out front. He turned to me, pleading for me to talk to her. Anything she wants, the job will be waiting for her, he said. Sir, you can see she's angry and walking away. You better go and beg her again, I said, leading him to her, and he followed. Later at Lillian's shop, I asked why she walked out like that after he had already apologized. She replied, after all the insults he rained on us and chased us out of his house, you still had the audacity to help him? See, Lillian, in life, it's not good to repay evil with evil but with love. When someone does evil to you, show them love and they might change for good, I told her. Lillian was still angry because he told her to take her certificate and work in the zoo. Zoo isn't a bad place. After all, people still work there, I said. She was disappointed, asking how we even became friends. It's God who made us friends, I replied. Honestly, guys, Lillian is a good friend. She understands me better than I understand myself, and we get along very well. Another day, Brother Chuka told me to employ a cook so I wouldn't accidentally serve poison, and because he was tired of buying pizzas and drinks all the time. I told Lillian about the job vacancy, and she was interested, saying she was fit for the job. Wow, are you sure you can do this job? What about your store? I asked. She assured me she could manage both since she wasn't making much profit from the store. She was so interested in this job that I calmed her down. She told me I wouldn't understand because she really needed money badly. She confided in me about her mother, who was held captive due to a debt after her father's death. She hadn't seen her mother for almost 2 years, the only family member she had left. My God, this is serious, I said, worried about her. She quickly asked me to call and tell them I had someone for the job, so I immediately accepted. Now I see why she was always looking for money everywhere. Days later, I was shopping at the mall when I saw the same man whose car I had helped fix coming out with his purchases. Ah, you again? Do you remember me? I'm the one who helped you with your car after you asked me and my friend to leave your house the other day, I said. He remembered and thanked me. So, where are you going? I asked. He replied that he was going to put his purchases in his car. Okay, let me help you again today, I offered. He was delighted and went to open the car trunk. Wow, your trunk is so nice. Someone could even sleep in it, I said to him. He laughed and said he would give me somewhere to sleep. I helped him put the items inside, and he asked where I was going so he could drop me off. Thank you, but I need to get something inside first, I said, and he agreed to wait for me. Later, we got to his house, and I helped bring in the items and took them to the kitchen. I noticed that the kitchen cabinet was broken. Sir, your kitchen cabinet is broken. It wasn't me. I just saw it now, I told him so he wouldn't think I broke it. He said he was aware but always forgot to call a professional to fix it. Professional? I can actually fix it, sir. If you have a nail and hammer, I can help you right now, I said. He refused, but I insisted, and he let me fix it. On our way out, I noticed the door handle was broken. Your door handle is broken again? I can help you fix it now, I told him. He told me not to worry as I had done enough for him that day. He then asked, Did you go to school? School? Yes, I went to the 4 walls of a school, I replied. He asked what I studied. I studied animal husband, I said. Do you mean animal husbandry? He asked. No, you are the one who added the dry to it, I told him. He thanked me for what I had done for him and apologized for how he treated us the first time we met. He admitted he had learned a lot from me and was grateful. He told me he has 2 daughters and hopes they will marry a good man like me. Wow, like me? I asked. He said I was now like a son to him. Guys, honestly, showing love to someone who treated you badly can create great opportunities for you, I shared. Finally, Lillian became the new cook at our house. She was making pounded yam in the kitchen when I joined her to give her moral support. She was nervous, asking me to leave so my boss, as she called him, wouldn't see us together. I stayed with her. Later, she served Brother Chuka and Brother Dave. They both praised her cooking skills. Wow, for Brother Dave, who loves food a lot, to praise your cooking, it shows you really know how to cook, I said. Brother Chuka then told Lillian she would be on 1 month's probation to prove she could cook different dishes. If she did well, she would get the job. Otherwise, someone else would. Lillian assured them she would do her best to impress them. He then said her salary would be 70,000 naira a month, which made her both shocked and joyful. He added that the salary would increase if she did well. She was excited and thanked them, then left. I also thanked them and was about to leave when Uncle Dave called me back and commanded me to get him water to drink. Uncle Chuka asked why I was thanking him. Opportunity, I replied. He told me to leave immediately, and I left with the cup. The next day, I was in the kitchen when I heard someone shouting my name. I rushed out and saw Uncle Chuka holding a shoe. "What is this?" he asked. "It's a brown shoe that you wear to your office, but you can also wear it to church," I answered. He cut me short, saying he had asked me to clean his brown shoes, but I had cleaned the black ones. He asked if I was blind or if something was wrong with my ears. I got confused and didn't know what to say. I kept repeating what he was saying until he raised his voice and instructed me to clean the shoes immediately because he had a meeting. I said okay, and just stood there while Lillian looked at us, dumbfounded, and I was confused too. Later, Uncle Dave was about to drive out for work when he immediately shouted my name. I came out, and he asked if I had washed the car and why I left the light on. "Oh yes, I washed the car, and I was the one who turned on the light," I said. He began insulting me, asking why I put on the light. "Is it night?" he asked. I tried explaining, but he shut me up, saying I don't think and I don't use my head properly. "I use my head," I told him. He got upset and immediately asked me to get out as he drove away. Still the same day in the kitchen, I was having a glass of wine with Lillian. The words of my brothers and my father kept running through my head, how they said I'm useless and that the affairs of the company do not concern me. Suddenly, I felt someone touch me, and it was Lillian. She asked why Brother Chuka and Brother Dave would quarrel 1 minute and become best of friends the next. I told her it was our father who caused it. Surprised, she asked who I was calling father. "Chief?" she asked. "Yes, Chief is my father," I said. She didn't believe me, saying I had gone totally insane. "For real, Chief is my father. My name is Silas Adichie. I am the last born. Brother Chuka and Dave are my elder brothers," I said, leaving her shocked. I told her that our father had told them anyone who gets him the contract would inherit his wealth, and that's why they were always at odds. She became speechless. The next day at her shop, I began apologizing for not telling her who I was. I wanted to tell her when she mentioned her job interview. She then told me she wasn't angry that I didn't reveal my identity, but was wondering why I let my brothers treat me so poorly, or even let a stranger insult me, a whole Chief Duncan's son. She asked, "Why didn't you participate in the competition? Is it not someone who has sense that will join a competition? Because I don't know anything," I told her. She held my hand and said, "You have so much in you. At least you went to school." "I didn't go to school," I replied. Lillian began motivating me, saying that I know how to express myself and that I have potential. She suggested I give it a chance, but I told her there was no chance anywhere. I loved taking care of the house. She insisted, asking how long I would continue running errands for my brothers. "Tomorrow I will have a family of my own. How will my children or even my wife see me running errands for my brothers and calling them sirs?" She told me she wasn't a graduate, but took online courses to better her life. She insisted I had the opportunity to make my life great. I didn't pay attention and kept doing my thing, but she stopped me and held my hand tightly, saying I could do it. I just needed to believe in myself. Lillian, this is easier said than done because even I can't believe in myself," I replied, but she made me believe she had faith in me. "Okay, if you believe in me, give me Milo," I joked, and she began laughing. But honestly, guys, do you think I can do this? Later that night in bed, I began to reminisce on Lillian's motivational words. Unfortunately, the negative words of my brothers started to counter them. They said I'm not smart, and even if I read all my life, I would never change anything. They said I could never get a job because I'm so dumb. I am only good at washing clothes and taking care of the house. Honestly, they might be right. I have autism, and with that, I can't do anything right. Let me just remain where I am. Nothing good can ever come out of me, I thought to myself. But wait, come to think of it, I have my certificate and I haven't actually tried job hunting before. How do I know if I can be accepted or rejected? No, I can't just sit here and accept every negative word said to me, I thought. Later, I went to the living room and began writing some application letters because I wanted to look for a job. I wrote, I am very good. I will work very, very well. I am powerful, super powerful. I am strong. I am smart. If you give me this job, thank you, Silas. Yes, let me give it a try before condemning myself. The next day, it was a Saturday afternoon. I got dressed, wore my shoes, picked up my CV, and left. I arrived at a gate and knocked. The gatekeeper came out and asked what I was looking for. I told him I was looking for work at this place. He looked at me like he saw a madman. He asked, which normal person would go look for a job on Saturdays? What happened to the working days? He asked if I had smoked marijuana before coming, and I told him I don't smoke. I only came to look for work. He told me I was dressed like a madman and asked me to leave immediately before he did something bad to me. I refused and told him I was looking for a job. As I tried to go in, he stopped me, shouting for me to leave now. So I left. I returned home feeling embarrassed and worthless. Lillian tried talking to me, but I ignored her and went to my room, threw my files away, and sat on the floor. Dear Lord, why me? Am I truly as useless as my family sees me? This is too much for me, I cried. Later, I was alone in my room and heard a knock. It was Lillian. I replied, come in, and she entered, sitting with me on my bed. Lillian, I want to ask you something, I began. Go on, she said. I know I am useless, but I want to ask, am I very, very useless? Am I truly the lost sheep of the family? Is it true that I will never make it? She replied no to my questions. See the truth, my dad, my uncles, my brothers, in fact, all my family said I will never make it in this life. Even if I come in my next life, they say I will still not make it. I know it's true, but the way they say it makes me believe that in my next life I will truly not make it. That's what is bothering me now because I know in my next life I won't want to come here again. I would rather come from abroad. But Lillian, I want to know, why do you believe in me so much? When everyone told me I am useless, you didn't see that. You told me I am not useless. Why? She held my hands and told me, it's because I see in you what others are taking time to see. You are a very smart guy. I see that you love to learn new things and are eager to learn, which will take you far in life. Also, I like that you are a very forgiving person and have a kind soul, unlike me. You need to believe in yourself, and everything will fall into place. It's high time you proved your self-worth because people are going to see and treat you just how you see and treat yourself. Honestly, her words pierced my soul, but I knew it wouldn't be easy. She added that it was time for me to take back the power I had given to people. You just need to believe in yourself. You can do it, she told me. Lillian, I don't think I can. My father already told me I cannot, I cried out. She still assured me, you can do it. Even if you fall down, you should rise up and keep going. I will be with you every step of the way. Having someone who speaks positively into your life is the greatest blessing one can ever ask for. I began to affirm the words, I can do it. I will not fall. I believe in myself. When people tell me I cannot, I will tell them, no, I can. But where do I start from now? I asked, crying. She replied, you can start from your father's company, leaving me amazed. The next day, my brothers were having their meal at the dining table, and I came to join them. I sat down and told them there was something I had been thinking about. Brother Dave laughed and said, so, you can think? Brother Chuka chided him and asked me to go on with what I wanted to say. Thank you, Brother Chuka. The thing is, I want to work in the company, I said. There was silence for a few seconds, and then they both started laughing at me. I joined them in laughing. Then they told me I couldn't work in the corporate world. The company needs someone like us, they said. You should remain the underdog and let the big bosses like us make the decisions. Do what you're good at, run around, clean, and take care of the house. Even as a gate man, you wouldn't qualify. What's the point? Brother Dave then asked, what can you possibly do in the company? At first, I was speechless and wanted to stutter. I told him, I could change the bulbs for you or help with dispatches. They began laughing at me, saying I was a clown. I was left speechless and felt helpless as they asked me to clear the table. Later in my room, I felt so useless after the conversation with my brothers. It's over for me, I thought. Nothing good can come out of me. The following day, my father arranged an introduction for my brothers to meet with the CEO of Mega Group of companies regarding a project they had been bidding for, while I remained upstairs. He introduced Brother Chuka, his first son, as the head of finance, and Brother Dave, the second son, as the head of marketing. They shook hands and exchanged pleasantries. My father's construction company, Chief Duncan's Construction, is ranked in the top 10 in the country by business reports, so he arranged the meeting so the CEO could meet the people running the project. Just then, I came downstairs after listening to their conversation, intending to go about my business. Suddenly, I heard my name, Silas. I looked up and saw the same man I had helped earlier. He hadn't told me his name yet, so I just called him Sir. He asked what I was doing there, and I replied, I should be asking you what you are doing in my house. He was surprised and turned to my father to ask who I was. My father replied skeptically that I was his third son. I quickly went to shake his hand, and he introduced himself as Chief Williams. He praised me, saying I was an amazing young man. My father, however, dismissed the praise, saying there was nothing amazing about me and that I was just Silas. Chief Williams then asked my father why he allowed such a talented young man to go to waste. He concluded that although he had been skeptical about giving my brothers the project, now that he knew me, he would gladly let them run the project on one condition, that I, Silas, would manage it. I was dumbfounded. Honestly, sir, you know, since I was born, no one has ever called me son before. Hearing you call me your son now is the sweetest word I've ever heard in my lifetime. I am so happy, sir, I told him, expressing my excitement. Chief Williams then asked my dad for permission to take me under his care and groom me personally for the job. He would train me and teach me everything I needed to know to run the company. He then told me to meet him in his office the next day at noon, dismissing the meeting and leaving with my father, seeing him off. My brothers were shocked and angry that the rejected stone had become the cornerstone. They were furious. I guess this ruined their plans. Despite my occasional nonsense, I am observant. My brothers had no plans for the company. They just wanted to win the contract for the money, 500 million naira, to enjoy and lavish. But it wasn't my fault things turned out this way. Chief Williams is a good man, I said to them. I asked if they wanted to eat fried pomo, and they got so mad they almost wanted to hit me. One said that if not for blood, I would have been dead. I walked away, leaving them to figure themselves out. Later that day in the kitchen, I told Lillian what had happened, and she was so happy for me. She hugged me, reminding me of all she had told me, that I should believe in myself. And I did. I held her hands and told her, Lillian, I can't write my life story without you in it. You made this happen. You asked me to go and conquer, and I did. I should believe in myself, and I did. You did it, and you alone made it happen, I confessed to her. Honestly, Lillian is truly God sent to my life. Thank you so much, Lillian. I didn't know how to express my gratitude and excitement, but the best I could do was what I did. She was so happy as well that her inspiring words worked out for me. The following day, I was all dressed to meet Chief Williams in his office when I saw my brothers in the living room. I didn't know what they were doing. I just walked out without saying a word. I went outside and, to my amazement, saw that Lillian had already ordered a ride for me and was waiting. She ensured I was good to go, then opened the car door for me, and we drove off. At the office, Chief Williams introduced me to his senior staff. He told them I was like family to him and that they should treat me with respect. I shook their hands and we exchanged pleasantries. He then told me they would take me to all the various departments and that I should feel free to choose whichever department suited me. I thanked him and stood up to leave when he stopped me and told me his secretary would later show me to my new apartment and my new car. What? Did you say my new car? I asked. He replied, Yes, you have a new car and a house. I was so happy as I stood up and left. Later that day, Chief Williams brought me home and introduced me to his wife, Mrs. Williams. She welcomed me warmly and told me she was making something delicious for us. Yes, I have been smelling the aroma for a while. It's jollof rice, right? I asked. They smiled as we went to the dining room. Later, the food was served, and we began to eat and enjoy our meal together. The next day, I used my new car to give Lillian a tour. We were having a great time together, talking and enjoying the ride. The following day, I came to Chief Williams' office looking unhappy. He asked what was wrong. I explained, my friend, a very good friend who lives close to us, has really been there for me. I owe her, and once I'm paid my salary, I will repay her. He asked if it was Lillian, the one he didn't give her the job she applied for. Exactly, you know her, I said. I then begged him to do me a favor, and he agreed. He made a phone call, and it was a success, assuring me that everything was being sorted out. He then told me I was a good man, and I replied, mimicking him, "You are a good man."
Silas, you're a good man. You're a good man.
Days later, I came to see Lillian at her house, accompanied by a woman. Lillian and I hugged, and then she noticed someone else behind me. Immediately recognizing her mother, she ran to give her a hug and began crying, hugging her again and again. I was so happy for them as I smiled. I explained to Lillian how I got her mother back with the help of Chief Williams. The day I was in his office, I had asked for his help to release Lillian's mother, who had been used as collateral by her husband to gamble for over 2 years. Her husband was dead and they couldn't repay the money, so they took Lillian's mother. I pleaded with Chief Williams to give me a loan to pay them, but he told me the case was one of being held hostage against her will. He planned to involve his lawyer to sort everything out. All he needed was the name of the farm where she was being held. I told Lillian that after their investigation on the farm and where her mother was kept hostage, they released her mother and signed an agreement that they would never disturb her again. Lillian was overjoyed, saying this was the greatest surprise of her life. I told her, "What you did for me was more. You helped me find myself, so what's a greater blessing than that?" They were so happy, and I felt fulfilled that I could actually help someone be happy. That's my joy. The next day, my dad asked to see me, and I came. We sat down, and he began saying he didn't believe I would want to see him after all he did to me, but he was glad I came. I just smiled and told him, "You are my father. I can't ignore you." He was so remorseful and began to apologize to me for how he disregarded me, treated my brothers better than me, never believed I could amount to anything good in life, and treated me like a stranger in my own father's house. He admitted he had failed me as a father and asked for my forgiveness, hoping I could find a place in my heart to forgive him. He was willing to make things right this time. "Dad, honestly, I'm speechless," I replied. "I'm finding it hard to believe you are saying all these things because, truth is, I have been waiting for this day, the day you would notice me. It has always been about my brothers. You've never spoken anything good about me. But since you've apologized from your heart, who am I not to forgive you? I can't be angry with my father forever, so I forgive you. I'm just happy that you finally accepted me as your son. That is what I always wanted." He then confessed how embarrassing it was for him that a stranger like Mr. Williams believed in my potential while he never did. If he could turn back time, he would make a change. He then asked me to come back and work in the company, promising to give me anything I wanted. That will be very difficult, honestly, Dad. I don't think I can come back to work for the company because where I am working now, I've been given a house and a car. It wouldn't be nice of me to just leave like that, but you can always visit me at my house. Just make sure you call me first," I told him. I love where I am, and I'm happy with my work. He told me he understood and that my job would be waiting patiently for me anytime I changed my mind. "I'm sorry, sir, but I cannot come back," I told him unapologetically, leaving him disappointed. Months later, Lillian and I are now officially a couple. We went out to have fun and returned home, sharing our experiences and feeling very happy. I told her again how grateful I am to have her in my life. "Honestly, Lillian, I know I've told you this before, but I will always keep saying it. You really helped my life. You gave me value and made me understand that I have what it takes to make it in life. You are truly a rare gem," I said. She replied, "I'm glad I could help." For real, Lillian, you really helped. You helped take away the old me. Now, if someone calls me a fool, I will smile and say thank you, because it doesn't change the fact that I know who I am now. For that, I've made plans. You have to go back to school, and it won't be in this country. Your visa has already been processed. Immediately, she rushed and gave me a hug. Calm down, don't choke me yet, because I am not done. For your school abroad, I have arranged an apartment for you and a car. Also, your mom can no longer live here. I will get her a new apartment and ensure she is okay. Lillian was so happy. I know this is not enough to show how grateful I am for what you did for me. You are the best gift I could ever ask God for. I told her how she has the same pomo lips, just like my late mom, and she laughed and we kissed. What did you learn from my story, guys? Please leave your thoughts in the comment section. For me, self-confidence or belief is everything in life. Truly, how you see yourself will determine how people will see you. Also, having the right people as friends who constantly bring out the best in you is an asset you must never throw away. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe to Creatority Films for more interesting and latest Nigerian movie updates. See you next time.